I could ask you questions.
And then you could ask me.
And then we could just let it take on a life of its own.
Or we could just leave.
We could get up and leave the room.
Boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, 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 boom. So there's a song we have called Danny California, which I think is going to be the first single. And Danny California is a character. It was in the By the Way song.
I didn't realize it at the time, but when this funky groove came up,
yeah,
it struck me as a perfect place to actually tell a story. Like sometimes I think it's much more interesting to just tell the beginning of a story and not finish it. In a song, it's like get it started and let it just go wherever it wants to go, wherever people want it to go. It's more interesting to not give a story a beginning, a middle, and an end in every song.
Right.
It's kind of confining.
Right.
Just leave it open.
Yeah.
Suggest. But with this one, I felt like this is going to be a cool story.
Right.
And I started writing. I was like, oh my God, this is about the girl that was in By the Way, Danny. And then I realized that Danny in By the Way was about the girl in Californication, the teenage bride with the baby inside. And so it, it sort of revealed itself to me that it was, it's been the same character, just kind of developing.
Well, I knew that she was from By the Way, but I didn't know she was from California.
Yeah, I didn't either until I took a look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the beginning of it came kind of 3/4 of the way or so through our writing, and John came in and had this riff on the guitar, and as we do when we get ready, when we start to write songs, we just sit down and start to jam, or if someone has an idea, or both, come in and they just say, hey, I got this thing I've been working on, and John came in, said, I got this thing that reminds me of like a Wu-Tang riff, and I remember he said that to me, and he just started playing the guitar, and the opening guitar part, and he goes, no, boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba, and I go, okay, I got it, and we were off.
And then for the chorus, Chad and I, we always play along. We always play Black Sabbath songs. It's a big thing for us to get together, and we once played through the whole album of Volume 4 by Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, and so it's just a little exercise we do to get better at playing with each other and stuff, and I really love that feeling of really slow, heavy things, and so for the chorus I made up this thing that was a really heavy, slow paced thing, and that was a little argument Chad and I had all the way up through the actual putting it down on tape. Was just, I wanted the song to get really slow there, like I wanted it to actually slow down, and he was saying, I think it's okay if we lay back, but I don't want to actually slow down. And so that's the kind of rhythmic conversation, disagreements we might have, but I think we settled on a good halfway mark for the two of us, because good compromise, because I do hear it slowing down the tiniest little bit there, but it really, like you said, it's more like a laying back than it is actually slowing down. But if you hear my original recording of it, I definitely slow way down at that part,
It's so cool. I really like the way when John came in with that melody for the chorus. The way that it overlaps against the music is really different than...
It's different.
Different than the way my brain would ever think of something overlapping with a piece of music.
Or Chad's for that matter.
Yeah, it's a real unique thing.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this, the first Wu-Tang album, End of the 36 Chambers, pretty much every day for the whole writing of the record. I was inspired by especially by the rhythms that the MCs were using in their raps. They were inspiring to me in terms of my guitar playing, and I was really inspired by the way that people like Jizza and Method Man and Raekwon and all those guys, they don't just go in a straight rhythm, straight according to how the drums are. They make up their own groove in the music, and I was really into the idea of a lot of rhythmic expression for this music. One night I was just sitting here, doing my usual thing of, I was playing along, like either bass or guitar along with that record, and then I thought to myself, why don't we have a song with that drum beat, and I'll just make up some chords right now to fit into that drum beat. And so that was where those chords came from. And even though the chords were written in order just to put some chords to that basic drum beat that's all over that first Wu-Tang album of boom 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 boom. What ended up happening was not really that different from like Sweet Home Alabama or something. You know, like even though
I think Wu-Tang was very influenced by Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Came about from a jam, Philippe playing one of his awesome slap bass lines.
I think that's one of the partyingest songs you've ever done.
Tell Me Baby?
Yeah, it just parties like crazy.
When we first started doing the melodic stuff in the band, it was real divided. It was like we had our songs like, you know, Sir Psycho Sexy and Greeting Song and Apache Rose Peacock, and then we had our songs like I Could Have Lied and Breaking the Girl and Under the Bridge, and they were totally divided, and they've gradually become one thing more and more. And to me and this is something that Rick pointed out. It wasn't me that realized it, but Rick just pointed out the day he'd heard that song that it was the most one that those two aspects of the band had ever become, you know.
He said, I remember him saying it just sounded like the best of what you guys do really well, both things together in one song. I've never heard you guys really do that. And he's like, he loved that song. I remember when we played it. And it's fun to play live. We played it live a couple times. It's come to be two things that I think are getting. I mean, we've always been able to do the funk thing pretty good, and then more recently, melodic thing, and to put them both together in one song is I think it's a good achievement in showing that we're growing and as songwriters and players, and it's got a great melody. Anthony, he sings, the chorus is very catchy, and it's very happy to me. It's just a really good, uplifting feeling song.
What gets me in that song is the chorus. You know, we all, between the chords and the words and the notes and the tones and the beats, it feels real. Like you really feel the sensation of a person going through something.
Yeah.
Tell Me Baby is kind of about that river of humans that flow into Hollywood.
Yeah.
They flow from Nebraska, they flow from Tallahassee, they flow from New York, and there's this constant, you know, wild influx of hopes and dreams and desires and, you know, plans and, you know, aspirations for actors and singers and dancers and magicians, and, you know, they all want to come and get a taste of what it is to make it, whatever the hell that means. Yeah. We get their energy. This town gets all that crazy kind of hopeful, wishful energy, but we also get the broken dreams of, like, you know, the reality that doesn't always work out so well.
And we also get the sadness of people like just really barking up the wrong tree, like not like trying to improve themselves as artists, but trying to get close to fame, and the ugliness of the power and fame being like this god to people, where they try to get next to it or be a part of it or do anything they can. Like that, to them, that's the whole, their light in life, is to how intimate they can be with power and fame, how much they can rub about it or get it in their pocket or whatever.
So that can be a lonely place to find yourself.
Yeah.
And that song's a little bit about the loneliness of a girl who just, you know, came searching for something that she really didn't ever need or want in the first place.
FashionTV.com